Beyond the Veil, Navigating the Great Awakening, a special series on Survivor Angels.
It's time for Survivor Angels, an approach to strengthen trauma survivors. Here, you can escape what draws negativity and engage your positive abilities and the gifts that you've always had. Let's activate your angels. And to help you on that journey, here's Chaplain Jodi.
On this episode of our special series, Jen and I welcome Cindy Kaza for a mind-blowing conversation none of us expected. People talk about the shift, they talk about the veil, and they talk about the awakening. Mm-hmm. How do you define all of that?
It's like, I feel like it's more of like people are starting to actually just kind of like remember who they actually are. Because when a lot of these systems and structures that we're just so used to seeing, more stable than they are. See, everything is getting shaken up, right? Everything is like, nobody knows really what's happening, right? So our foundations are getting rocked. That's what it feels like, right? So when they're not being rocked, we just kind of go about life. People are going to work, doing their thing, whatever they're doing, right? Which is a luxury, by the way, to have that kind of stability, But I feel like when people have to look at things differently, when they don't have that structure, it doesn't feel the same, things don't feel safe, then they start to go inside more, maybe, right? Or like they start to have more faith, or they start to think like, I need to surrender, right?
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of the beginning of when people start to like wake up, right? Mm-hmm. Because the way that they were seeing things before, it's no longer available to them. And I feel like the veil is very thin right now.
Very thin.
Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
It absolutely does. Right. I think that's why we have the calling of, people are posting a lot of stuff on Instagram and TikTok and all these other formats going, oh my gosh, everything's crazy. How do I do this? I'm going crazy. I need meditation. I can't handle this, the stress. Mm-hmm. And we want people to be able to say, hold on. What am I feeling now? Mm-hmm. Where are my guides, my angels? Trust your intuition. Where do I navigate to now based on my reality of what's going on and how it affects and impacts me?
Yeah. I mean, and if you look at like the history of spiritualism, the religion of spiritualism, right? Like mm-hmm. there seem to have been really big kind of booms right after wars.
Yes.
Right.
And people are looking for answers. They're looking for explanations as to why things are so crazy. Why is this happening? And I believe that on some level, I really believe it to be true that we have to be in pain to change. Like a lot of the time, there has to be a painful something going on for us to be like, this isn't working anymore. Right. This doesn't make sense anymore, right? And I think we're experiencing a lot of collective fear, a lot of collective pain, a lot of just like that not knowing.
Right.
And it's like that's where things shift.
I think, my past, but very traumatic upbringing. Mm-hmm. And, until I began to walk through my pain, because at some point you got to face it, you got to push through it, you got to embrace it and say, you know what, I let you go now, and deal with it. That's when everything popped up.
Yeah.
And I think that, just with the angst of political garbage and fighting within, the global world as it's going, and just humanity itself, I'm feeling like all of us are like, we just need to ground. We need to stay focused. We need to band together. And as light worker, I specifically was told, you got to do something. And the more mediums or sensitives that I deal with, they're like, there's a calling. I feel like there's a need to help everybody else. And I think it's a collective right now that we need to try and help.
Yeah.
The way we can.
And I think it's important to talk about like the need for us to also go inside of ourselves and look at where to look at those places that are uncomfortable, like because that's the only way that we can have compassion for ourselves, and then in turn have compassion for other people. If we can't face our own shadows, quote unquote, then how can we like have compassion for other people? And that's what's needed. It's like when people say Christ is coming back or Jesus is coming back, to me it's like Christ consciousness, which is compassion.
Yes.
And it's lacking. I mean, it's like I have always said my job is not to choose sides. My job is to try to have compassion for everyone. It's not easy to do. Like I have opinions about things. I have really like a lot of opinions. And then I look at like just people in general, and most of us want the same things. We want to feel safe. We want to feel loved. We want compassion. And we want to be heard. We want people to listen to us and hear what we have to say. And when people are operating from a place of fear, then you see all of these projections coming out. You see in-group, out-group behavior, which is like social psychology 101. It's like, and in my opinion, the only way for this to change is for people to be in enough pain and enough fear that they realize they can't do this anymore.
Right.
They can't be so divided. They have to come together. And I don't know what that looks like, right? Like what is it going to take?
Right.
You know?
I think the foundation of that, Cindy, which you brought up right at the very beginning, is people have to get back to who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so distracted with so many things and bombarded with so many things that real us, that real you, has gotten pushed down and suppressed.
Yeah.
And that's why all the fear and everything comes up, because we no longer know who we are, so we don't know how to deal with ourselves, let alone the world.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also that people aren't really being honest with themselves.
Well, and it's hard to be
Yes.
honest with yourself, right? I mean, I'm like,
Right.
ooh, when I got to look at things, I'm like, oh gosh, that part of myself, that needs some work. Oof, you know, that's a tough one to look at, right?
Agreed, but that there's that consciousness of I'm identifying, I'm recognizing, and this is something that I'm struggling, and I still need to work
Yeah.
on me. But that's the humanity part of it. It's the growth
Mm-hmm.
on our part, so that we can impart through our pain help to somebody else.
Yeah, and right, and also like if you look at all of the messaging in society, in our culture, it's like always if we had this, then everything would feel better. If I had more money, I would be happier. If I looked better, I would be happier. If whatever the story is, if I had a marriage, if I had whatever, it's like there's a story to everything, and we're trained to think that we don't have enough. We're constantly trained to think we're in scarcity.
Right.
And people that have a lot of money, they still aren't happy, most
Right.
of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we all chasing, right? And that's the distraction, right? And when we start to recognize that and realize like how much out of scarcity we're operating on every level, like really, like it pops up in the weirdest places.
Right.
And that's the fighting. It's like people think they're going to lose something. They think if they don't do this, then everything's going to collapse. And it's like, maybe things do have to collapse for people to like recognize, you know?
Well, like anything else, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom, to actually look at your way up and go, oh, right in front of you the whole time.
Yeah. And it's like in terms of mediumship and spirituality, it's even the systems of like people when they, we find that a lot of times in really, really organized religions that are really, really strict. Look, there's a purpose for everything. I'm just giving an example of like what can happen is people are so concerned with following a system that that becomes like a point of scarcity. Like, well, if I don't do this, then I'm going to lose this, or this is going to happen, right? And then it's still like disconnecting us from compassion for ourselves, compassion for other people. So yeah, I don't know. The Dalai Lama said something like, I have this quote posted on my Facebook. It's like, the Dalai Lama said, compassion is the radicalism of our time.
Yes.
And people often like confuse compassion and empathy. It's not the same thing.
No, absolutely not.
Right?
Right.
So yeah, and then during COVID, I was teaching a lot of mediumship. I couldn't travel, and all these people were coming to classes, and they're like, I don't know what's happening. I'm suddenly feeling all these energies. And like for a while, I was like, maybe it's like the energy, the collective consciousness, which maybe that's a part of it. But then when I thought about it, I was like, oh no, everybody was forced to slow down. They had to sit down. They couldn't leave. They couldn't like go. They couldn't be distracted with the same things. And in that place of stillness, a lot of people had awakenings.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people in this go, 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 keep the kids busy, get my husband off to work, make dinner, do this. We don't know how to just sit.
I can be like that too, right?
Yeah.
Guilty. Totally.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to just and just breathe through it.
Yeah.
You know, where am I? What's going on? How do I feel? You know, I always tell Jodi, it's the triage.
Yeah.
Like, how's my head? How's my shoulders? Am I feeling stiff? Oh, what's that causing my pain? You know, and we actually just need to take that moment. It's like self-care is what I call it.
Radical self-care.
Yeah. And if something is really heavy on your heart, because there will be days where I have a dream and my husband has cheated on me or something. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, like where's that coming from?
Yeah, I
know,
can wake
right?
up and just bam. But it's like, okay, hold on, where's this coming from? You know, and I think that's why what we want to do this is like month to month, just hey, here's your check-in. Here's what we see astrologically coming. Here's what we're feeling. You know, hopefully you're feeling it.
Yeah.
If you are, here's a resource, or here's what we can do. Yep. But I think overall, the feedback has been such that I'm not okay with just being.
It's because then you have to sit with yourself. What does that look like?
That silence is probably the most terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is until it isn't, right?
Right. Yeah.
It is
doesn't
until it
have to
isn't.
be.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I feel like, and I can only speak for myself, right? But it's just my experience growing up in our culture is like, you know, if we admit that we have a shadow side, then we're a bad person. Like that's the story, right? And it's like, wait, no, everybody has that. Like everybody has that. And so, but then you're running from that. And so then when something happens that isn't, maybe you're not being the best version of yourself, the tendency is to just push it over here or just keep going instead of being like, oh, wow, that was a moment. That's not doesn't make up the entirety of my spirit or my soul. It's a part. And we're made up of all these different parts, you know? And so I think if we can start to look at that and be like, that's a part of me, but so is this, and so is this. And we can see people as made up of many parts instead of just like one thing.
Right.
Right?
Because we're so used to labeling.
Yeah.
Labeling means one when it's multiple.
Yeah.
I just look at it as like, I'm almost 60. I look at my life when I'm in my 20s. I've lived 5 different lifetimes. Every decade.
Oh, I'm kind of like that too.
Right? And it's like during this phase, I was not the best Catholic.
Yeah.
You know, during this phase, I was in mommy mode and, you know, cop mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because now I'm at the age where I just don't care.
That's a great place to be. I'm waiting to get there. I'm like, I'm in my 40s and like I'm getting closer. And then I had a friend be like, wait till you're 50s. It gets so much easier. I'm like, okay, it's like every decade just gets a little bit easier to not give a crap what other people think about you, you know?
And that's exactly You're being authentic to you. And I think there's a genuineness that brings out the honesty of, I have shadow work. That was me. This is a part of who became this.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't happen in the vacuum.
Exactly.
No.
And so I embrace it. I love it. People who go through what I've gone through and very similar to what Shane has gone through. It's like, you know what? You just have to know that was a moment in time. And that's just for this, at least for me, our platform here. When we go to the beyond, there's going to be a different thing going on. You know, your job was to elevate from that moment.
Yeah.
And you've progressed and you've gone into life number 2, life number 3, you know, in this world. And just to try and like, here, let me pull you up. Let me help you.
Yeah.
You know, this is my pain. Hopefully you can learn from my pain.
Yeah.
You know, but no judgment. Where can we help? You know, I think that's the beauty of getting older. Is like, let me just help. Let me leave this place a better place.
Right.
When I leave, let me impart a little bit of my knowledge and my pain, etc. And go from there.
Yeah, totally.
So one of the things that we generally talk about during this time is astrologically what's happening for the upcoming.
Oh, I'm so bad at astrology, so you have to help me with this.
Okay.
I'm like the worst at astrology.
Okay, so let me ask a really broad general question of you then. How do you see astrology affecting us because we all walk different paths, and yet some people really cue in on their horoscopes. They firmly believe in the zodiac. For me, it's all sacred geometry. With
Totally.
angels, I am linked totally with sacred geometry, and of
Yeah.
course, Metatron
Yeah.
is my guy for that.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
I mean, do I believe that the transition of the planets and the stars affects how we feel and experience things? Yes. I mean, just because I've had really good astrologers read my chart and it's been very accurate.
Yeah.
I just don't have the patience to learn astrology. I'm like, it is so complex, you know? I'm just like, oh God, that's a lot. I'm just like, it's not what I focused on. But do I believe it to have meaning and value? Absolutely. I mean, if you look at also like indigenous, peoples around the world, like the stars told them a lot of things. And especially like the Dogon, there's a tribe in Africa called the Dogon tribe, right?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting, like they knew about Sirius B before the science could even like show that it existed.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, it's up there, it's like super interesting, right? Do I believe in star beings? Absolutely. So I think it's real.
It's right.
Totally.
Right. So for September, we're going to have a solar eclipse, a lunar
Oh,
eclipse.
good. Oh my God, I always lose my shit on the eclipse. Every eclipse, I like have a complete meltdown. I'm like, what just happened? It's like, oh, it's an eclipse. Great.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Oh, here we go again.
It's just an intensity. It's an intensity. So I always tell people, don't look at it as the negative because everybody's like, retrograde, oh my God, I'm going to go high.
No, it just brings things out.
Yes, it brings things out, but it can also energize you to like, I'm going to tackle my closet today.
I'm calling
Bam.
that in. That's what I'm
Right?
calling in. I'm
Right.
like, okay, exactly.
It's how you focus, and it just gives you that extra shift. Now, if you're cranky, I feel bad. I feel bad whoever you're going to get cranky on.
No, I know. That's what's happened with the last two eclipses. I was like, oh no, maybe we should just like go on vacation,
Right?
Be, like somewhere away from everyone.
I tell you, girl, I look at the calendar and it's like, okay, this and this. So, like, for me, the beginning of the month is going to be chaotic. It's like, don't even
September?
don't even have a calendar because it's not going to work. It's just, just the energy. And then it's like trickling to okay. And then at the end of the month, I'm feeling like a lot of communication problems, especially for type A's. I'm so type A. And if things like, I missed my flight, I just got to remember, like, yesterday, it's like, you know what? It's in God's hands. Whatever happens, happens. Meant not to make that flight. So
yeah, right.
And you made it.
And I made it. And, so you can't worry about that kind of stuff. But I just know for me, at the end of the month, it's a type A. I feel like a very Capricornish, control freak kind of type A's. We really need to watch our communication. We really need to just take that breath. Don't be in control. Don't freak out. And just kind of go into Aquarius mode.
Yeah, right. Go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Oh yeah, I'm not great at that. I mean, I try to be better at it, but
You seem like it would just be a natural.
Oh God,
transition for
no.
you.
I mean, it depends on the situation,
Okay.
It just depends. But no, I mean, I'm like New England. Like, if something's on my mind, I just say it. And a lot of people, it's New England. It's just like, you
Good
get it
for
out.
you.
And like, but it's not always a good quality, It's like, I have to like calm down the New England, like New Hampshire girl,
You don't have quite the edge, though, that a lot of New England.
I used to have it a lot more, and then I lived in Nashville for 10 years, and so my partner at the time was like, you need to be a lot less New England here. And I was like, what? And then, I don't know, through osmosis, I just started like being a little bit less New England. And I'm like, oh.
Southern way.
Exactly.
Girl, you gotta take it,
Exactly.
add on that gravy, and you'll be okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Are you getting any feels yet for September?
Well, I mean, I hope it's not like crazy because I'm real busy that month.
yeah.
I don't know. My schedule's so busy. Personally, like I've been doing predictions for the last few years, and I don't talk about my predictions a lot because I say the future is a possibility. Like
Right,
predictions are a
absolutely.
possibility. It's not like set in stone, okay? But as far as like the end of this year and next year, I feel like there's going to be a lot more political, civil unrest. And if I have to tie that into what you're talking about, sure, could an eclipse exacerbate the way people are feeling? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that there's going to be a lot of civil unrest, a lot of stuff happening, especially next year. And 2027, I've been getting for like 3 years. I don't even know what it is, but I'm like, 2027 is going to be crazy. I don't know what that even means. Is it aliens are coming or what the hell? You know, like, it's like something's going down in 2027. Okay. I've been saying it for a while and it's weird. So
we had this conversation last night sitting at my house.
Really?
Same thing.
It's crazy.
Like, this is almost like deja vu.
Yeah, I'm like, 2027, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we had a special little guest come by, at least for me, that I was chit-chatting with along those lines.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like, this is a first for me. He was imparting information. I'm like, 2027. Okay.
Isn't that weird that we're having this conversation right now? Well, I mean, it's not weird.
It's
but
not.
It's not.
Knowing the energy. Yes.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, prior to, I think, last year, I've always believed, I like to call them star beings because alien feels off, but let's call them star beings.
Yes.
Like, I've always believed in star beings. Had I communicated with them, not that I was aware of, that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
And last year, I had this huge, was in a meditation, and they came in, and I was like, okay, this is this is happening, because I wasn't calling it in, wasn't asking for it, and it was very, very serious. It was like serious business. And it was interesting because what the message I received from these star beings, and there are many different kinds of star beings, right? But was that that they were coming as a frequency, not in ships.
We just said that.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Oh, weird. And so, okay, interesting. And so that people are going to be really confused because it's going to be like telepathic. It's going to be a frequency. They're not going to know the difference between their thoughts and whatever this energy is. And then people are going to start to be like spinning out, right? And it's like, so I was like, oh, wow, that makes a whole lot of sense, because if you work as a medium or psychic, like, we receive information telepathically all the time. Right. And energy comes in that way. And if you're not trained, it's very confusing. And you don't know what's happening, right? And then, but then when I felt the energy of these beings, it was so intense. But thank God, I've been doing mediumship like professionally for a long time, like over 15 years, right? So I'm like, okay, I knew how to navigate it mostly.
Yes.
But if you don't know,
it'll freak you out.
It will freak you out.
Yeah.
You know? So, and there's another one of my friends who also was super tapped in, and we had the same exact experience like that. So I was like, okay, this is lining up.
Right.
You just had it? I'm like, what's, all right.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
And
right?
that was the first, because I've never communicated. I've astro traveled.
Yeah.
No worries. But he's like, oh, you can understand me. And I'm like, yes, and you're freaking me out because you look like one. I just can see the head. And he's like, we're layers, and we're going in and out of your frequency. And everything, he goes, you can hear me telepathically. And I'm like, I can hear you.
Yeah.
And you're probably understanding everything that I'm saying. And my guides are like, don't worry, just breathe. Because I can feel my little heart going a little bit faster. And they're like, you got this. Everything's good. And he said, we're going to start tapping people.
Yeah, so people are prepared. Like, some people are more prepared. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he's like, he said that he's conversing with like a lot of light work. This is like grunt work for them.
Yeah. Oh, they're like, these stupid people.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was like, this is my job. This is what I got to do. But it's not something that they want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are messing up your planet.
No, I know.
Okay, I'm going to hit Cindy today. I'm going to hit me today. I'm going to hit you. Okay. And I'm like, just don't take me. That would freak me out.
Yeah.
But you can talk to me all you want and tap, and, because that's our job as light workers, to kind of enlighten and let everybody else get prepared and understand what's going on. So when that does happen, that there's an understanding that I'm not freaking out. I'm not going crazy.
Yeah,
this is really
it's actually happening. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was a first, and the way he was talking was just, you're not supposed to understand. This is what's happening. They're higher beings, higher intelligence.
Well, and they're less emotional too. They're just kind of like, because I remember experiencing it was a different type of star being than the first encounter. And like, they were sharing with me like some things that are going to happen, but I would say it's a possibility. I don't like to say for certain.
Right.
That had to do more with like war and, well, I hope that's not true, but like unrest. And I was like, God, that sounds so scary. They're like, it just is. Like it just is. Like they don't have emotions about it.
Right.
They know they have to somehow, I think, intervene, but it's just kind of like we're a much more emotional
Absolutely.
species,
Yeah.
right?
See, that's angels.
And so we're super
Angels are not
emotional.
emotional. They are
Well,
not emotional.
I look at angels, and if you look at
Maybe angels are star beings. So.
They are.
I'm looking at
I will say
the
they
Dead
are.
Sea Scrolls and all
Yeah.
the stuff that has been omitted out of the Quran and the
Well, yeah.
Bible, etc. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they didn't add, like giants and all these other
Yeah.
things. Yeah. I understand why politically, get
Exactly.
killed, but there's so much we don't understand. And I look at it as, okay, there's angel realms, there's spiritual beings, there's, like the Indian star beings. They're a higher intelligence to guide and move us through whatever we're going through on this layer. But I hear there's like bleed throughs. There's frequency bleed throughs.
Well, because it's all happening right now. Like this is also my opinion is that there's the linear time. That's how we experience this.
Yeah.
And it's also not as it truly is.
Right.
And then, but it's really hard to talk about because there's really no language to talk about it that we can use without contradicting ourselves. So it's really not easy to talk about.
Right. It's very abstract thought.
Yeah, but it's like in that space, sure, like there's bleed through because it's not even bleeding through, it just is, right? It's like everything is. And so it's when we say we don't understand, like, yeah, if we're operating like, yeah, sure, like I don't understand everything, you don't understand, but actually we actually do understand.
Yeah.
If we can wake up to the fact that we do understand.
I think that's you're needing to tap in
Yeah.
to something beyond your comprehension. Like, this is my reality, but it's not a reality. This is, we make our own happiness, and that's very true. So, I mean, you look at people like, oh, I'm going to be a star, and they get the gumption and do it and get on, Instagram and become a star. Great. Everybody has their own power.
Yeah, no, it's
create,
true. It's true. To manifest, to create,
Exactly.
and to be in those spaces, and it's really interesting, right? Because we're told, most of us are told our entire lives that we need to look outside of ourselves for everything, and that's also the problem, And so we forget that we are a very powerful species,
Right.
creatures.
Heal thyself.
We're connected to everything,
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. So, because the city needs to move on and get rid of things, I keep looking at that.
Thank God, thank you for not making me do video because this is like not. I thought this was all audio.
Cute as a
I am
Yeah.
dressed like I don't know what I'm dressed like today.
But coming from the angel side, what they said for September, because the angels are about the guidance.
Yeah,
And so, based on what you said, because based on what I'm getting from the angels, is you've got to use your intuition, which that's the angels giving you your guidance. When you're getting that gut feeling with the chaos in September, just listen to that wee small voice inside, because it's going to help you get through that. And the other piece that they're giving me is organization. Organize your journey. And that's Metatron. That's going to do that with the sacred geometry. He's all about structures and systems and all of that. And so go to your angels and listen to those voices and those messages.
Yeah,
and trust
totally.
them, because they're within you.
Yeah.
They're part of you. So go for it.
yeah, I
Yes.
agree. This
And
was a fun chat. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
This was
so
really lovely.
Yeah, totally.
And
I was like,
I'm not going crazy with
no,
you.
you're not. But how weird? How weird?
Last night.
That's so weird.
I had a feeling you two would come out.
It's so
my
interesting.
Yeah, smack dab in the
Perfect
same place.
timing.
It was.
Yes. So, all right. Until next month. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Yeah,
Cindy.
totally. It was really fun.
Yeah,
Thank
this was
you.
hilarious.
I was like, whoa, I don't really get to go that deep and talk. So, because, sometimes it's just people are like, wait, that's way too much. Like, can we just be.
Oh, no,
I was just saying that we're going, oh my God, we just had that conversation
It's
last
weird.
night.
Yes. Yeah. And this is the stuff that we love.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. It's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like really
I mean,
fun.
this is our reality, right?
Yeah, I know.
My husband's like, okay, honey, you do you, and I'm just gonna go here. God bless him, because he stayed for God knows how long, almost 30. And he's like, oh, you're just a fun ride every day.
You're not boring.
Thanks again for joining Chaplain Jodi on Survivor Angels. For more information, go to chaplainjodi.me. That's chaplainjodi.me. And on Facebook at Survivor Angels-Chaplain Jodi. This is Dave Schrader. Until next time, sending you off to activate your angels.